we hope that we were able to cover this with a bit of tact and and realness as well. We didn't want to come on some fake shit. Like, we're just gonna come as Nana and Ro, Tutu's podcast, talking to our friends or out here listening. This is like us talking to you as like heart to heart kind of vibe. Like, so we're talking to, at least we're talking to our friends. Yeah, this is not no performative shit. So like, if we have got maybe some of the things we've said wrong, we do apologize. Feel free to correct us. Yeah, but we are just coming to you on the real thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Hello. Hi guys, and welcome to episode 156 of the Tutu's podcast. I am Nana. And I'm Ra'o. And together we are Tutus. Just want to say we're in our gym wear because we're going... well, you're in your gym wear. I'm not in my gym wear. Yeah, I'm in my gym wear because we're going to the gym afterwards. Yeah, we are going to the gym. Nana's not in the gym, but she's going to the gym as well. I'm going to the gym as well. We're back on our Zoom. We're back on our Zoom. Well, you've been back on your Zoom for a bit. Longer than I've been back on my Zoom, but I haven't been going nearly as much as I wish I was going. I wish I could be going. For me, ideally, I'd be going 4 times a week. So I make it 2 times most of the time. Right. And I just feel like the gains. I mean, I've lost some weight, but I want some gains. Do you know what I mean? My muscles are not muscling yet. It'll soon come. I can't remember the last time I went to the gym. It was a while ago, and I saw the money come out of my account. So I said, "Do you know what? I'm going to the gym." Nana said to me yesterday, she goes to the gym. I was thinking, why didn't I ask? Because I didn't even ask her to go to the gym anymore. She doesn't ask me to go, and she asks. And every time they be talking about gym stuff in the group chat, I'm just like, that is silence. But yeah, I saw that money exit my account. I said, you know what? I need to get my money's worth. Yeah. That £36 can't be for nothing. Do you know what I mean? I hear it. We go to the gym. Struggling again. I'm gonna be struggling again because it's been a while. I lost the small pump that I had. It's gone. Okay. The small pump, even the small one that I had is gone. So we go again. For the third time. We go again. Guys, we've had our party. Oh my God, Tutu's Pride Party. Thank you to everyone who came to the party. It was an amazing turnout. There was points where the line was just like proper long and people were queuing to get in, and it was a vibe. Yeah, it was a vibe. Yeah, we had a good time. A really good time. A lot of people don't remember much of the night. I don't remember some of the night. Like, we were working up until like a good, like maybe until like 9. Yeah. Running around like headless chickens. And then we started drinking and having fun. And I can't remember. Yeah. I mean, on the door, everybody... just want to say thanks to everyone who bought me drinks on the door. People bring me that cocktail on the door. That is good. You did ask. And I did ask. And you guys delivered. They did deliver. That delivered. Yeah, delivered. But it's kind of annoying because by the time this episode comes out, it's going to be like 2 weeks after the event. Yeah, it is going to be 2 weeks after the event. Yeah. So because we missed a week and it wasn't because of us. It wasn't our fault. So I know because even at the event, someone came to me and said, "How come sometimes you guys miss a week?" And I said, "Babe, please." I said, "Babe, please." Sometimes it is our fault. Sometimes it's not our fault. This time it wasn't our fault. So please bear with us. Like, you're listening now. Yeah, thanks guys. This is going to be a bit of a serious episode this week. We want to trigger warning as well: sexual assault, sexual harassment, and yeah, we just thought we should discuss it about these things that happen within our community. Yeah. So it's going to be a bit of a serious one. Trigger warning. Like, if this anything to do with this topic is going to be triggering for you, we just advise that you maybe switch off and tune in next week instead. And yeah, if not, thanks for joining us for this episode. Yeah. I think it is a serious topic, and I think it's one that we kind of shy away from because it's within our community, and our community is always about like providing a safe space and stuff. Like, as people that are marginalized, like, I think we always like are rooting for safe spaces. We're rooting for people to be protected and stuff like that, no matter what walk of life they come from, no matter what sexuality they identify with, no matter what gender they are. I think we're always rooting for safety and protection in our community, and I think sometimes we don't want to face the fact that stuff does happen within our community that is inappropriate, that is wrong, that is hurtful to people mentally and physically, and I think that is we just have to get into it. Yeah, we have to get into it. Like, we don't want to shy away. Yeah, it's uncomfortable though. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. It's awkward, but we don't want to shy away from this topic. And I guess I would just say that
within our community, because I don't know, I guess where society kind of heavily sexualizes us, so we internalize it a little bit sometimes. And also, if when you're dating people of the same gender, there is a familiarity there. So like maybe in situations like club situations where we've had too much to drink, or maybe like even where drugs is involved, because let's be honest, people in our community do take drugs as well. Whether you view weed as a drug or not, whether you view other things like, again, trigger warning, like cocaine or anything like that, like people take these substances, and it just is what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I guess people lose their awareness sometimes, and all of those things come to put together can lead to harmful situations, that people touch people inappropriately without consent, and people, I guess because we're in these, I guess our spaces are meant to be safe spaces. We're meant to be in situations that are like everyone's comfortable with other people because of our gender familiarity and all this stuff, and just a bit comfortable. People don't say anything. People might not even view it as assault or inappropriate until later on. Maybe they've spoken to somebody and there's someone did this to me, and they're like, that's assault. Do you know what I mean? If that's something that you didn't consent to, that is assault. And we have to just call a spade a spade.
We do. And we don't want to like excuse like these behaviors and just put it down to like alcohol or like drugs and all these things, like, because there's no excuse. But I think when it comes to like sexual abuse or sexual harassment, sexual assault in like our community, and not even just in our community, just in general, people are scared to talk about it. Like there's so many people who it's happened to and they don't speak about it for years, like, and that's down to them being scared to like them feeling ashamed. That's one, them feeling ashamed, and obviously they shouldn't feel ashamed, but they can't help but feel ashamed because they've been violated. Do you know what I mean? And another one is down to like people not believing them. They might think that no one's going to believe them, or they're scared to say who done who done the inappropriate thing, because they might be someone important, or like someone, even like a family member that's high in the family hierarchy. Do you know what I mean? So it's like there's various reasons why people don't come out and talk about it, but we need to make sure that we're providing a space where people feel comfortable enough to. It's obviously a very uncomfortable thing to talk about, but we want to provide a space where people do feel comfortable to speak about it, because 100%. It's not right. Like it definitely needs to be dealt with, and I think that the more we speak about it, the more we'll be able to deal with it, because when it's like done and everyone's all quite hush about it, while I understand why people are hush about it, then nothing gets done and people continue to do those inappropriate things. Where people are speaking up about it and we're having these conversations, people are going to be more aware. The people that are doing the inappropriate things will be more aware. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's just a difficult one. I think we've all had instances of like sexual harassment or sexual abuse in the community and outside of the community, I would say.
Yeah, of course. Like I have before. Remember that person? What did she do? She put my hands in my trousers or something in it. Like even that was time ago. But I can think of other instances as well where it's kind of just been like, you can think where people have like, obviously I got a bum. Like people might come and touch my bum, or people might come and touch my boobs, or there's just many different things. And I guess for me, I haven't really taken anything. I've taken everything with a pinch of salt. I don't think I've really internalized it in that way, but maybe that's something I can sit down. Maybe why don't I internalize? Because I don't give these people consent to do this. I haven't been giving anyone consent to do that. So maybe I just also internalize the fact that, it's just, same sex, like we're in the club, we're all having fun, we're all drinking, and I just put it down to that. Do you know what I mean? But if you feel like somebody has touched you inappropriately, or you haven't given consent and you're uncomfortable, you're very much valid in those feelings as well.
100% true. And you know what's funny as well? Like, like I said, like our friends, we might be all touchy-feely and stuff like that, and they are our friends, and then there's like people that we're around that might be a bit touchy-feely and stuff like that, but like no one really asks. And like back in the day, I would say like the sexual harassment came from men, but it's funny because in this 2023, the only person that has asked to touch me has been a man.
Really?
Yeah. the only person that has asked to touch me is a man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I feel like, you know, there are some guys who are actually learning from things, but because we don't talk about this happening in the same sex, like, you know, situations, that women think is okay.
Do you know what as well? I feel like when people have come out about certain situations, about certain women and outed them for being inappropriate or anything like that, it gets swept on the rug and you just out again, taking pictures of pop smoke.
Yeah.
Respectfully. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, nothing really happens. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, nothing really happens.
Nothing
like,
really
there's a little bit of outrage for like 5 minutes, and then everyone they just go under the radar for a little bit and they go back to normal.
Yeah.
You see me, remember when that list thing happened? I remember, like when I see these people outside, I remember. Like I just like people just get amnesia.
Yeah, no, people. But then also, what are you to do? Like once you've outed this person or had a conversation with this person, and you know, they take accountability, what are you supposed to, like, where do we go from here? Do you know what I mean?
This is what I'm saying. Like when people like out people or people for being inappropriate and stuff like that, the only thing to do is to go to the police. If we're being honest, if you like, the thing to do is to go to the police. I understand the police is an institution that is not reliable when it comes to things like this. Like they don't take these kind of cases seriously. There's like a small percentage there where there's actual convictions, but I'm gonna say the convictions, it's possible, you know, like, because I know somebody who was sexually assaulted. It was literally their word against the other person's word, and they won. They went to trial. It went all the way to trial, and they won. Wow,
that's very rare, because usually when it's like one person's word against the other, it's very hard to convict. But if there's multiple accusations, then it's easier. Do you know what I mean? So that's very surprising.
I don't think on this occasion there were even necessarily multiple occasions. It was just that it was their word against each other, and there was no DNA, nothing.
That's rare.
And then the person who actually ended up getting the guilty verdict, it's just like he changed his story a lot.
When you switch up, or when they find the holes in your story that you've lied and stuff, then obviously they're like, this is not an honest person.
And the reason why I kept lying is because he didn't take it seriously. I don't think he thought anything was going to happen to him. So I know I'm talking about a man in this situation, but I just want to know that it has this. We just want to concentrate on it happening in the queer community. I mean, it's kind of sad when it happens in our community, especially in our spaces and stuff like that, or just within friendship groups and within different relationships, because I guess we always talk about how safe we feel in queer, like just queer energies, I'm gonna call it. We always talk about women in relationships, how safe we feel, how we feel at home and stuff like that. And you don't want these things to happen to you at home. But we just want everyone to be extra vigilant. We want everyone to be, just because you're on alcohol is not an excuse to be touching at people. And also people reserve the privacy, that they deserve privacy. If they feel like they've been attacked, you don't need to talk down on these people, like be asking questions. You don't even need to go and apologize sometimes. When this list thing happened, I knew one of the guys on the list, so I reached out to him and I was like, what did you do, kind of thing. And he was like, I don't know what I could have done. And he had an example of something, and it was assault, but he didn't think it was assault. It was like, you can go to prison for this. And he's like, I didn't know. And then he was like, maybe I should reach out to God. I was like, I don't think you should reach out to her. You don't know if it will be triggering. I think you need to reflect on what you've done and not do it again. You need to change. The best change is changing. The best thing you can do is change as a person.
Change your behavior.
Is that the best thing you can do is change your behavior.
There was a guy on the list that I know, and you know, when I saw his name on there, I went to like confront him about it. And he says there's nothing I could have done to be on this list. And I was like, do you know what? I think that's what you believe, but some of your behavior, even towards me, has been inappropriate. When I first met you, you were really trying to get on me, even physically. It was intimidated, although I wasn't intimidated, but someone else could have been intimidated by that same behavior. I wasn't intimidated because I was just laughing at him, but someone else could have found that intimidating. You know, this is a guy, this is a big guy, do you know what I mean? So I was just like, you're not being honest with yourself. I think you need to dig deep and really look at your past behaviors and how you've been around with other women, and reflect on it. Because at the end of the day, I mean, some things are very severe and some things are, and I'm not even gonna try and do Olympics with them. I'm not at all. But there are some things that some people don't want to report because they might even feel like, okay, it's, you know, it's quite, in comparison to other things, it's not as big as those other things. But yeah, it's still sexual harassment, it's still sexual assault at the end of the day, and it's still serious. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like, I think like just people should just speak up about these things and have conversations, and it's up to us, like if we know people who have acted in an inappropriate way, to speak to them and to make sure that they reflect and see how their behavior was inappropriate and hurtful to others. And the best thing, as you said, like, is changed behavior. You know, so you know, I've had to deal with like well, let's call it what it is. Let's call it what it is, like sexual abuse. And it was more so like a woman being very, very persistent with me until I gave in. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't want to have sex with her, but I grew tired. She wore me down, basically. She wore me down, and in the end I just had sex with her. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want to. Even the fact that she was satisfied did not satisfy me. Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't want to have sex with her.
It's not. It's just it was forced.
Yeah, it was forced. And
I think it's difficult to say.
It's difficult. It's difficult to say that it was forced. And I think I've always said this, and I've said this to people in the past, and they haven't taken me seriously because we don't. It's like, oh, like nah, you're like a gallus, or you know, you liked your ego being stroked, but it wasn't that at all. I didn't want to have sex with this girl. Do you know what I mean? So it was that having to like realize that is not okay. That is sexual abuse. Do you know what I mean? Because if it was a guy and they were doing the same thing, people would take it more seriously. But because it was another girl and I'm a girl, people didn't take it seriously.
And I also think that it has something to do with you being more masculine presenting as well.
Absolutely.
Because if it was roles reversed, if you had done that to her, do you know what I mean?
So true.
And I just feel like I've said this before about being masculine presenting, like there is this weird what's the word I want, the expectation on us to, they're just weird like labeling on masculine presenting women, basically. Like people are too quick to paint us as aggressive and all these things, and like put us in a lot of harm, but you can also do that on the flip side, but not taking us seriously. But I think we should be able to handle these things. We should be able to do that. You're a gallus, all these things. Listen, all this gallus they like to say about us, we have heard some stories from y'all in the streets. We are nowhere near.
We are nowhere near.
We're nowhere near as half of you lot listening to this podcast. Like we are just, sometimes we hear things and we are just shocked. We are nowhere near outside. We're not even on the streets. We're barely off the pavement. We don't even move.
Trust me,
the way a lot of people move.
We're on that pavement.
We are the pavement. Like, I wouldn't even say that we're gallus.
Because the things that people be doing is not what we be doing. Do you know what I mean?
Like we've both been single for about a year and a half, just over a year and a half, and in that time we've barely dated. And we wouldn't say that we're ready to be in another relationship. And we talk to people and they're just in relationships all the time. And I just can't believe it. I am so thrown. I can't believe it. But I do think it's because we are two masculine presenting women, we are judged in a certain way. And because we're judged in that way, it's harder for us to come to terms with when things do actually happen to us. Because I would say, again, I have been touched inappropriately 2 times, unlike you as well. I've been pressured to have sex with somebody as well. And the last time I spoke to somebody about it, because I'm a recovering people pleaser. I was still people pleaser at the time. And when I spoke to someone about it, they were like, why did you sleep with this person? And I spoke to them about it. I was just like, I felt forced to sleep with this person. It wasn't taken in at all.
Really? And
I just felt kind of violated by them as well. Like this is the first time I've actually admitted that I didn't want to sleep with this person. I felt forced to because they used their mental health against me a lot. If I would exit the situation, their mental health was used as a reason, as like, come now, or I'm going to do this to myself, things like that. And I stayed in that situation, a situation I shouldn't have been in. I stayed in it for that long because the person weaponized their mental health against me. And when I finally spoke up about it, there was zero grace. Like there was just no point in speaking about it, and I get why people don't speak up about it, because
I just people don't. I don't even want to get into that, but
I don't want people to not speak about their things because of what I've just said. But I can also sympathize with people who decide not to say anything at the same time as well. But I just hope that you do have a safe space for healing. I would say that I've had a safe space for healing. Within my friends, do you know what I'm saying? Within putting up boundaries, and even me changing as a person too, because I feel like me being a people pleaser and was because that's what I had lack of boundaries and things like that. Like even though this person weaponized their mental health against me, I want to be able to not feel guilt. Just what if they do something to themselves? Trigger warning, I'm so sorry. Like if they do harm themselves,
that's not on you.
It's not on me. And I feel like I would remember at the time I kept saying I don't want them to do this, and then it's on me. Do you know what I'm saying?
I said it was not on you.
And that was it's not on me. But I've had to I had to grow and kind of just learn to put up boundaries so that I'm not in that position. I'm not in any position where I don't want to be, basically.
Yeah. It's true. Like even me, thinking back to my situation, like the only person that kind of believed when I have the conversation, because basically I told my sister in it, but I told her maybe 3 years later, and she was just because this happened on a holiday and my sister was there, and this whole time this girl was making advances towards me and my sister can see it. She's just what's going on here? And then when I told my sister 3 years later, she was like, oh Nana, why did you do it? And I was like, oh, you don't understand. She was doing too much, and she understood. She's the only person, because she was, I guess because she was there, but anyone else would just be really, you wanted to do that kind of thing, but it's just it's difficult for us.
And the thing is, there's nothing you don't want to do it just because you're a lesbian.
It doesn't mean I fancy everybody just because I like women. It doesn't mean I fancy every single woman.
It doesn't mean every single woman fancies you as well. Just because you're both queer, it doesn't mean that's not your path right to go and touch somebody or expect sex from them or expect anything sexual from the person because you're both queer.
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
Yeah. So I just with those kind of things, I think we just have to, as I said, we just have to keep talking about it, especially within the community. We have to keep talking about it, because nothing's going to change if we don't. All these things are kept hush. No one talking about it. People get to keep doing these things, and it's not nice, it's not fair, it's it's very harmful to people's mental health as well. Do you know what I mean? But I'm glad that we're even having this conversation as masculine presenting women, because even me, I don't know how to process when someone touches me inappropriately. I proper don't know how to process it. Do you know what I mean? And that is not just because I'm queer, because I think if a guy, because it's not rape, trigger warning, because it's not rape, and it's just something that's it's something that's inappropriate, I don't know how to process that. Do you know what I mean? Because then I think the way that we've moved through life, people haven't taken even sexual harassment seriously. Do you know what I mean? People don't take it seriously. The most they take seriously is rape. Do you know what I mean? So I think we always, internally we downplay sexual harassment, sexual abuse.
Even catcalling is
sexual harassment.
Yeah, sexual harassment. People staring you down the tube. So people following you. There's just so many different types of people stalking you on social media. There's just different types of sexual harassment. Sending nudes,
unsolicited nudes,
that are unprovoked. You just always have to get consent.
You always have to. When in doubt, ask for consent. That's what I say, because obviously sometimes we go by vibes, innit? I don't understand how people get vibes wrong.
Me neither do I, because I think it's obvious.
I don't.
You said no to the person how many times, but they still didn't get it.
They still didn't get it. I said no, as in I said it verbally. I said no verbally. It wasn't just, because sometimes you can say no with your body language, and I feel people should get that too. It's not just about being verbal. You can read someone's body language and know whether they want you to initiate something physical. I've never been wrong. So I don't understand why someone else is wrong. I don't have two heads. I don't get it. So I think it's about reading people's body language and taking it a bit slow, and also when in doubt, just ask if it's okay. Ask for consent.
do you know what? When you don't take notice of somebody's like body language or energy and vibe, and you just misread, do you know what that is? That's you not even paying attention to the
You're
person.
not paying attention. It's all about you.
It's all about you, and that is wrong. Anything sexual should be about two people,
Right.
or even more than two people. Where anyone who's involved in sexual, sexual communication or sexual whatever it is, everyone should be seeing each other in that and noticing each other in that. The moment you tap out, you don't notice the other person. Stop. Like that means you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, you're doing something wrong.
That is just. No.
Yeah.
No, because that's why people don't see the vibe.
Yeah, because they're only thinking about themselves.
Yeah.
They're only thinking about their own satisfaction. And that's wrong, because when you do that, like, you make the other person like not human. Do you know what I mean? Like, you take that away from the person. So it's really, really important to pay attention to energy and like vibes, and, you know, just someone's like body language is really, really important. It's really important to be able to read body language, like, you know, because people are not always gonna be verbal and say no. Sometimes people don't know how to say no. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes people, you know, like they're in so much shock that they can't even verbally like speak. Do you know what I mean? But you may be able to see on their face, you may be able to read it like on their body, like that they don't want to be touched or they don't want to be spoken to, or do you know what I mean? So it's really, really important to be aware, like, you know. And also, like, even just to add to that as well, a lot of queer people who are queer and maybe have been sexually abused or anything prior to them coming out, or when they were younger, like, people shouldn't really, when people say that, oh, you're only queer because you were abused or things like that, like, that is so invalid as well. Like, I know that some people do actually think that's true. Like, I've actually had some DMs about that before, like people saying, oh, maybe I'm queer because this happened to me, or you're not queer because anything happened to you. You're queer because you're queer. Like, I don't want anybody censoring their sexuality around other people and experiences of other people as well, because it's just not true. That don't invalidate yourself based on some trauma. And because I feel like even me as well, because when I think the man I told you that time I was playing outside, and the man, the trigger warning guy's story for when I was sexually assaulted as a young child, there I was playing outside my house, and then some guy asked me to do something. No, he asked me to do something, and then he did something, and then my mum called me. I was playing outside. My mum called me, and then he ran off. And I was like 5 or 6. I never internalized that as anything like that, because I wasn't even know what sexual assault was. I didn't even know what was even happening until it happened to somebody else that lived in exactly the same thing, right? By the same man, happened to one of the young girls that lived in our area, and she saw us as big sisters, so she came to us and she said, this happened, and the whole area marched to the man's house. And the next day the whole family had moved. We didn't see them again after that, because all the mums, my mum came, all the mums came, all the siblings came outside, the whole community came together and drove that family out of the area within 24 hours. Wow. They were gone. And I just really thought of how brave she was, because she was young as well. She came to tell us straight away. She came to us straight away, and the thing is, that even gave me bravery to turn around and be like, oh, this happened. Do you know what I mean? This happened. And I told my mum, and she was just like, wow, like, this person's just been walking in our area all the time for all these years, doing this to people.
And even me, like, when I started to like come to terms with my sexuality as well, I just think that maybe is that why? Because I was such a young, but no, not at all. No. Like, not at all. I'm even able to speak about it so freely because I'm very much healed from that. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Something that happened, and I'm just very much healed from it, kind of thing.
I get that. I was watching a documentary the other day, and trigger warning, it was about sexual abuse. This man had been sexually abused by his father for a few years, and then, like, he was telling a story about it, and then in the end he was saying how he's changed his life around, and because when he was sexually abused, after that he came out and was dating guys and stuff like that, and he blames his queerness on the sexual abuse.
Yeah, people do.
And that's when I shut off. That's when I shut off the documentary or whatever it was. I shut it off because I was like, babe. Because he's saying that he's straight now. And I'm like, babe.
It's internalized homophobia. I feel like it's internalized homophobia. Like, you just want, if you're not comfortable with your sexuality, or you haven't like dealt with the trauma, there's just you just try to find a link somewhere.
Yeah.
You just try to find links of this to say that, oh, I'm gay because of X, Y, Z. You're just gay because you're born that way, babe.
Yeah, you're just gay.
Yeah, you're just gay because you're gay.
Yeah.
And so that's what I encourage people to deal with their traumas. I understand that accessibility is different to do like therapy. Accessibility is different for people who might not even have friends or people they can feel that they can speak to, and just different things like that.
Yeah.
But I would just hope that people can feel committed to trying to heal in whichever way they can,
right?
Whatever's accessible to them.
Yeah.
And that happens for more of us within our community.
Yeah, and I guess a lot of it is down to like our parents not talking to us about these things, you know, because I mean we didn't even get like the parents, you know, sexual education. Like we didn't get that from our parents, the birds and the bees. Yeah, we didn't even get that. We didn't get like, you know, the talks about no one's supposed to touch you here, no one's supposed to touch you there. And I think like that's part of it. We've grown up like even still kind of making things smaller when they're actually not small, when they're actually big, because we haven't, like our parents like never drilled in the severity of these things, that, and even society hasn't really drilled. It's always been something that is like quiet, like no one speaks about in the open. And I understand like it's triggering to a lot of people. I completely get that, but I think the more we speak about it, the more it will be less uncomfortable to speak about. So I just think that shit starts at an early age. Like we need to be talking to younger people as well about that. And because like within our community we often feel lost when we grow up with people who are not queer in our vicinity, in our households, in our families. We always look outside to find someone who's queer, and sometimes we find those in unsafe people. And even like speaking to queer men, young men who, you know, find older men who take them under their wings, who may not be safe, or go into apps like Grindr and they find people who are not safe. Like it's really, really important to talk about these things, because you're just gonna go as a young person who is like navigating their queerness and knows nothing, you're just going to end up in unsafe situations. Do you know what I mean? So it's good for people who are even straight, like the straight people listening to this, like you need to be talking to your queer younger people too. Do you know what I mean? Like, because they might not have queer people in their life. They might only have you, and that's why it's important for you to be an ally. Do you know what I mean? So yeah,
because you're not just an ally to uplift them in pride. Do you know what I'm saying? You're also an ally in these difficult situations, and just to encourage them, like it's okay to feel this way, or it's normal to feel this way. And just even speaking to young people as well, like I'm just grateful there's people like going to schools now speak about consent and things like that. And like even me, like I think, remember I told you that I had a tutor, and he said to me, "Oh,
don't tell your mum.
Like, if I touch you, don't tell your mum." And I told my mum. Obviously, I didn't know what that meant. But then when next time he came to teach me, my mum told him, but she basically was like, "This is what you said to her. You can't teach her anymore." So I knew that was wrong, just because of her reaction based on what I said to her, not because she sat me down and be like, "Don't." But I do think people are better at that now. I definitely spoke to Emma about that when she was young. And I also taught her what our private parts were called, and use nicknames. What the actual names were. And whenever she would like go to her friends' houses, or like even if I was there with her at the friend's house and the kids are playing and stuff like that, I would be, "Are you okay?" Then, like, do you know what I mean? I also in very innocent ways. Did anybody touch you? You didn't want to be touched? Like I'm fine. You know what I mean? So that I do think that people are getting better at it. And I just hope we continue, and I just hope that we be able to keep getting better for queer people too. Because
I think there is a lot of, because of the stigma as well, like there's I think for us, not that it's more like we can't speak about it, but there's another layer attached onto that shame, and like is the stigma of the queerness just on top of that. So
and some of that's why it's also our blackness.
We're so, in our community, we're so hush hush as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, don't put your business out on the street and all this other stuff. Like, and it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. Everything is about optics and how things look, and that's why a lot of abuse has just gone, you know, with people not sorting it out or people not talking about it, because it's about optics. It's about how things look. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's about shame. And I think for our community, we need to be more open. Do you know what I mean? It's not about how things look. It's about how things really are. So
I hope that this is something that we just started to speak about based on something that's been just something that's happened in our lives. So we hope that we were able to cover this with a bit of tact and and realness as well. We didn't want to come on some fake shit. Like, we're just gonna come as Nana and Ro, Tutu's podcast, talking to our friends or out here listening. This is like us talking to you as like heart to heart kind of vibe. Like, so we're talking to, at least we're talking to our friends. This is not no performative shit. So like, if we have got maybe some of the things we've said wrong, we do apologize. Feel free to correct us. But we are just coming to you on a real thing. Do you know what I'm saying? And yeah, just to finish off, we could talk about something a bit more lighthearted. Just to finish off.
Like what?
Girl. Because we've got time. Hold on, let me check.
Our live show.
So guys, our live show is on September the 9th. Guys, we know when they're sold out. The party's finished now, so you need to buy tickets to the live show. The party's finished. Like 310 of you bought tickets to the party. That's more than our live show capacity. Okay. So you guys have to buy tickets to the live show. Or there's no party. There's no more parties. Respectfully.
If you can come and shake Nyash, you can come and listen to us talk. Like, you enjoy listening to us talk on the podcast. So be buying those tickets.
We're threatening you.
No
parties unless you buy tickets to our live show. Period.
And we've seen that you want another party. I know there's loads of people who didn't get an opportunity to get a ticket to come to our last party. I know you want the party. We know you want the party. So yeah, we're
gonna get a party if you come to the live show, because it's free. There's free entry to our after party. If you come to the live show. And it's only going to be open. The after party is only going to be open to ticket holders for the live show. So you can't get tickets to the after party if you don't attend the live show. Sorry. We're so sorry, but that's how it has to be.
That's how it has to be, guys. So we want to be able to do different things. It's not always about like parties. Do you know what I mean? Like live shows, other things that we can do that is just not like going to the club. It's, you know, it's important, healthy for our community. Variety, balance is really, really important in our community. So, in life in general. So buy those tickets. They're only £9.50. They're only £9.50.
I can't believe they're £9.50. I think they're £9.50.
They're only £9.50. That's really cheap. So we'll put the link.
The link's already in our bio. It's been in there for a month.
Well, it's there in our bio, but we'll put the link in the description for this episode. And buy a ticket, because it's going to be really fun. It's going to be really entertaining. Last time someone said that it was like our show was like stand up, which was a huge compliment to us. Expect that plus more. You know, so buy a ticket. £9.50. 9th of September.
We ain't discussing no parties on this. That happens, mate.
Nah.
Buy tickets to the live show.
Buy tickets to the live show, darlings. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening. This was a bit of a heavy episode. If you're able to make it to the end, then thank you so much for listening. Tune in next week. We're going to go back to our usual lighthearted selves next week, but we just thought it was really important to cover this topic. Just because we don't speak about it enough, and there are a lot of people in our community that are affected by everything that we've discussed today. Make sure you use #Tutu's podcast and conversation on Twitter. Make sure you buy tickets to our live show. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Until next week, peace.